Hey, consciouspreneurs, conscious leaders, conscious everybody. So actually, from now on, I'm just going to call you all conscious creators because that's ultimately what everybody is at the end of the day, whether you're a conscious entrepreneur, a conscious leader, or just a conscious person. So hey, conscious creators. And then secondly is I'm not going to be having coffee when I'm doing these because I was going through the other videos that I did and noticed that I was burping my way through them, so I apologize. Pretty gross. I'm like, yeah, okay, better put away the coffee going forward. All right, so hello, we're back, conscious creators. Good to be with you once again. So today I wanted to talk about what is a conscious entrepreneur in the first place, because I think there's some people that are watching and they're just joining the journey, my journey, and they're probably wondering like, what the frick is a conscious entrepreneur? So I'll tell you what a conscious entrepreneur or consciouspreneur is to me and to the circle or the pond that I swim in. So a consciouspreneur or a conscious entrepreneur, to me anyway, it's similar. It's kind of like a sort of like a social entrepreneur. If you have heard of those, social entrepreneurs start social enterprises. These are types of businesses and different types of structures that address a certain type of social purpose. So they're very purpose-driven, very heart-led. These types of individuals. They can range anywhere from, any type of planetary problem solving, like cleaning up the ocean, for example. They can be social related, hence their name, social enterprise or social entrepreneur, where they're working to just better society in various ways, whether that's helping to address the homelessness epidemic, any kind of drug epidemics. So just bettering society, bettering our social circumstances in general. So that's a social entrepreneur. But what is a conscious entrepreneur? I would say, in my opinion, to me, a conscious entrepreneur is sort of the combination of a social entrepreneur as well as a just a conscious person. And by conscious, what I mean is we start to delve into the realm of just consciousness in general. So what is consciousness? Consciousness, to me, in the way I explain it, the way that I know consciousness is everything. And there's two types of people. There are people that are either, maybe three. There's people that are fully conscious and they are aware that we are conscious beings ultimately, and we're here having a human experience. Then on the completely other side are individuals who are just not conscious as of yet. They're still having their human experience and not really fully aware of, they haven't asked the big questions yet. They haven't gone through any kind of experience yet to just understand, who we are, where do we come from, what is our purpose on the planet, what is the purpose of life, and so on. I guess the third would be sort of in between that. So these are conscious beings or unconscious beings who are kind of just awakening onto their path of consciousness. And I'll tell you a very quick story of how I became a conscious being. And I'm not saying that like, oh my god, I'm high and mighty, I'm fucking like awake and everybody is asleep. Not saying that at all. I think that consciousness is a gradual process and we're all always gradually just awakening and becoming more and more conscious. My journey started back in 2012, and it was a very significant time. I was 33 at the time, which is also a very significant number to me and to many individuals who are across different types of esoteric topics. And what was interesting was at this time in 2012, this was predicted to be, the end of the world. However, after, much research, what it really ended up being is just the end of the old world and the start of the new world. And this was, this goes back to like Mayan, Hopi, Aztec prophecies. And after further research, what it looks to be was, it's the end of the old world in terms of who actually used to be in control of the world now. That is playing out in different ways as some of us can see at this stage, because the old power structures are really doing what they can to just cling on to the old society that's just breaking down in various circumstances. I mean, you look at government, you look at education, religion, pharma, they're all just coming to their end, and there's the new world, and that's why I call it the new earth, the new paradigm that is dawning. So yeah, I had my experience in 2012. I randomly, just very sporadically, popped out of my body, like spiritually. I was in my bedroom, and I was just kind of like, if you've seen that, I think it was the Doctor Strange movie where, I don't know what her name was, but she like shoves Doctor Strange out, and like his spirit just pops out of his body.
But I see through you! What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea?
And it's kind of just floating in the air like, whoa. Well, that's exactly what I went through. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit. And I didn't know what that was about. And I thought I might have been dreaming, except I kept doing it night after night. Like, I started getting good at it and started having fun. And, you know, this time we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have, we did have Facebook. We didn't have Facebook groups and all of these interest groups like we do now. And, you know, the people that are just coming to their awakening now are so freaking lucky, because they have a whole, just groups and just large amounts of people that they can circulate with and just get information from. But I had to go onto like the message boards, onto the, just these very old school boards. And I luckily I found some groups that were talking about this, which is called astral traveling and astral projecting. And I was just getting more information about like, what the hell is this and what is going on? And they were telling me about everything like consciousness, and we're all like, you know, some of us are having our awakening at this time. Other people will have their awakening when their time comes. Some people are not going to have their awakening, and that's just the path that they've chosen for this life, essentially. And I was like, all right, so I'm astral traveling, and that's what this is about. And ultimately, I got really fucking pissed off, because growing up Catholic, I started to think, because I've always been a thinker. I don't want to take up too much time, by the way. I'm just going to see, we're at almost 8 minutes. Okay. I've always been a thinker, an observer, and I was always just very curious. And I think just coming up to this point, I think it was like right around when I was 33, I started asking the questions. I was like, I was like, what is the purpose of life? I'm like, why are we here? Why is there so much homelessness and destitution when we live in these modern societies, with these very first world countries, and yet we're still going to war. We have all this money that we can pour into just invading other countries, but yet we can't even take care of our own backyard, and it just didn't make sense to me. And I think that's sort of like what helped to trigger that. I think, when you ask the question, then you receive the answer. And so, after my awakening had happened, then, I became really, really just kind of pissed off, because I was like, I've grown up Catholic in the church, and I'm like, looking at the Vatican, surely they would know that we had this ability, that we could do this. I'm like, how come nobody told me this? So hence, that started my journey down the rabbit hole, and many rabbit holes. And trust me, there's tons of bullshit down rabbit holes, full of disinformation and also misinformation. However, there is a lot of treasure down in rabbit holes as well. And I'm just gonna leave that there. But what what got me thinking was, why weren't we told about this? Why didn't the Catholic Church ever mention any of this to us or to my family? My parents, especially my mom, is just like diehard Catholic. And so I started investigating, doing my own research into the Catholic Church, and just trying to find any kind of references that I might have missed about astral traveling and these types of abilities, which there's a multitude of. And the only thing that was being said that I could find was that these were just very evil, sort of demonic type of things. And from what I understand and what I know about myself, I don't think I'm a demonic, demented type of individual. So anyway, my search and my research continued, and there was a lot of information. I'm just going to just say, just very broadly, that I discovered exactly why that wasn't being talked about, and that led me to many other connections that they had. But that's for another video and definitely for another platform. Anyway, I became conscious at that stage, and I really began to, well, it took me a few years really to sort of come to terms with the reality that we live in, and to understand that ultimately we are consciousness, and we're here having this experience, and understanding that I did have a part to play, which was to just, as I've spoken about in prior videos, it was about looking at what my strengths were, looking at what I really aspired to, what vision that I wanted to create, and really just understand that there's this new earth, this new paradigm that's dawning, and entrepreneurship is going to be at the forefront of that, because it's going to take a lot of leaders, a lot of innovation, a lot of vision to actually create that. And of course, we're going to need a lot of help to be able to do that. So I was very excited to finally come into my mission and my purpose as a conscious entrepreneur, to help to foster that growth with incredible, amazing, and highly talented and highly conscious, like-minded colleagues that are also on the journey with me as well. So that to me is what conscious entrepreneurship is. It's a hybrid of being a social entrepreneur, but also just having that conscious awareness that we are here, and that we're all here for a reason, and everybody has a purpose, whether it's to help to build the new earth, or just to make your pilgrimage from the old over to the new, and then work in creating just peace, harmony, prosperity for everybody, not just for the select few. There's more and more of that happening. If you can just look at the dawn of the blockchain, for example, I can see that that's going to be a massive part of the infrastructure for the new society. Of course, the old power structures did not want that to happen, and so they tried to really just put people off of that and try to ban it in different areas. But now they're pretty much playing ball, because they know that it can't be beat. So they're forming their own coins. You're gonna see like the Fed coin from the US, and Australia's minting their coin with the central bank, and National Australia Bank, they're doing a sort of a union, joint venture in that respect. But yeah, it's pretty much just survival of the fittest at this stage. The old is definitely going away. I don't think it's going to be completely gone in our lifetime, but we're definitely going to see just some dramatic shifts with how that's going to just continue to just collapse on itself ultimately. And of course, individuals as well as companies are going to have their own they're called like an ego death, and that's when a lot of us, when we're first born, we're basically born into these bodies, and the bodies are guided by our egos ultimately, which is just a personality for the bodies. And our entire lives, we sort of think that we are that ego, but I mean, really, that ego is just the navigation system of these meat suits that we're here navigating this reality, this physical plane. And ultimately that ego does die in some respects, not completely die, but it gets bitch slapped by reality, and then it takes a back seat, and then your conscious your consciousness ideally will navigate you. And that's going to happen with most people. Everyone's going to have this sort of, they call it the ego death. Companies are going to have it. America is going through it right now. Other countries are going through it right now. There's a huge shift that's going to be happening next year in America in 2022, according to astrology, and that has to do with Pluto being in the second house of their astrology. The second house rules finance. Pluto, the planet, is all about death and rebirth. So transformation. So there's going to be an ego death in that sense. And you know, not everybody does have the ego death though, because most people will just kind of deny or not ask a question. They'll be too intimidated, too scared, or there might be shame behind wanting to just think about the reality that there might be consciousness or something else that exists aside from our ego. And that's okay. There's no judgments around that. Everybody is on their own path. But there's going to be a lot of individuals who are going to be having that realization that, like, holy shit, I'm not my ego. You know, from that personal perspective, and also, as mentioned, from society and from countries as well. Everything has an ego death ultimately, but it's just a matter of when we actually do that. So anyway, I hope that wasn't too much information. It's sort of like a very condensed version of like my journey since 2012. Goes a lot deeper than that, goes a lot darker than that, but we're gonna keep it very light and high level, and you know, stay compliant with the platform that we're playing on. If you do have any questions, you want to know more about consciousness, conscious entrepreneurship, it goes so much further as well. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface in terms of where consciousness actually, like how far it actually goes, and when we get into like reality, quantum reality theory, and all of that, like it's a huge topic. It's very exciting for me. It's very fun. But I don't get a whole lot of time to actually venture into it. So if you do have questions around, you know, consciousness, conscious entrepreneurship, life purpose, if you have any other topics that you want me to cover, just let me know. Just type it into the comments below. And then, yeah, that's it. I'll catch you all for the next one. And please do give this a like if you enjoyed it. And then if you want to see some more, then just go ahead and subscribe and do all the things. And I will see you for the next one. All right, ciao, bye-bye.